Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're taking that stack of source materials and, really cutting to the core of something that I think affects almost everyone listening. It's this modern, well, addiction maybe to just being busy all the time. If you feel like you're part of the burnout generation where the to-do list is just endless and working yourself ragged is still somehow seen as a badge of honor, then yeah, this deep dive is definitely for you.
It really is the modern dilemma, isn't it? Trying to find some kind of balance when, honestly, the lines between work and life have just never been fuzzier. Especially, since 2020. Remote work kind of made the office a permanent guest in our homes.
Oh, totally. And our sources today, they lean heavily on Fab Giovanetti's work, offering, well, kind of blueprint, a way to maybe escape that constant hustle, get your mindset right, and actually reclaim your time. So our mission today is pretty straightforward. Pull out the key ideas you need to ask that big question. Is a healthy work-life balance even, possible anymore?
Right. And we'll structure it. We'll start with the cultural roots of this whole overwork thing. Then we'll tackle the mindset shifts needed. That's the hard part, maybe. And finally, we'll unpack that practical three-step plan. Simplify, delegate, and automate.
Okay, let's unpack the problem first then. That massive shift to working from home, almost overnight for many in 2020. It brought some freedoms, sure, like maybe being there for the kids' school run, but it definitely came with a huge downside. We found out that, yeah, technology lets us be flexible, but work just expands, doesn't it? It sort of funnels into every available gap. Your home is everything now.
And the data backs this up as sort of crushing pressure. There was a UN study back in 2017, actually, found that 41% of people working from home felt highly stressed. Compare that to just 25% of people who only worked on site. It's a paradox, really. Remote work should be less stressful, but it ramps it up if you don't set really firm boundaries.
Yeah, 41% versus 25%. That's a big jump. And culturally, it's weird. We almost seem to encourage it. The sources use this pretty striking term, struggle porn.
Struggle porn.
Yeah. This masochistic obsession with pushing harder, listening to people telling you to hustle more, and then, broadcasting how hard you're working. Is that term fair, though? Are we really addicted or just maybe scared of not struggling?
Oh, it's absolutely fear-driven. I mean, think about it. We're scared of being called lazy, a slacker.
Right.
That fear keeps us switched on all the time. The author, Giovanetti, she shared this amazing moment. She turned off her laptop for the first proper time in 6 months and bam, hit with this buffering anxiety.
Buffering anxiety. What's that exactly?
Yeah, it's that really uncomfortable feeling when you actually stop. You're almost waiting for the next task, the next email ping, because your brain is just so unused to real rest. It just shows, doesn't it? As a generation, we maybe never truly shut down. We're just in this constant low-power draining mode.
That hits home.
Yeah.
If we're always buffering, we can't do the important stuff, the deep work. Okay, so that leads us neatly into the inner work bit, the mindset shift. We have to challenge this basic idea that working hard just means logging crazy hours.
And here's where the history is fascinating. It kind of proves we've had this wrong for ages. Go back to the 1950s. There was this study, right? Scientists working 35 hours a week were actually half as productive as their colleagues working just 20 hours a week.
Half as productive. Wow.
Yeah. And the ones working 60-plus hours, they were the least productive of all. We've completely mixed up being busy with being effective. Visibility isn't efficacy.
So we've misunderstood productive work for, over a century. Even the big names, Charles Darwin, right, averaged about 4.5 hours of actual work a day. That's it.
Exactly. And even industry figured this out early on. Henry Ford, way back in 1926, he saw productivity go up when he cut the workday from 10 hours to 8 and the work week from 6 days to 5. He realized that after a point, fatigue just costs more than any extra output you might squeeze out. More hours doesn't mean better quality. It often means worse.
Okay, so if work isn't just about hours clocked, what's the focus then? It has to be about seeing rest as, productive, not failure.
Precisely. There's good research on this. Psychological detachment from work, actually switching off mentally each day, leads to higher life satisfaction, fewer stress symptoms. And crucially, it doesn't hurt your engagement when you are working. Your brain's like a muscle,
Yeah.
It needs recovery time to rebuild, make those connections stronger.
It's not about literally doing nothing either. The source used a good example. A yoga teacher can still enjoy doing yoga on their day off. That's rest because it's for them, not for work.
That's the key difference. And that brings us to the value of boredom, which sounds counterintuitive, right?
Yeah, boredom feels like the enemy.
But maybe it's not. Manoush Zomorodi's research suggests we do our most original thinking, our best problem solving, when our brains are actually allowed to wander. If you're constantly filling every second, you starve your brain of that space needed for, like, innovation.
We need to actually make space for it, like Bill Gates. His think weeks. He just goes off grid to read and think. And he says his best Microsoft ideas came out of those times. So boredom isn't weakness. It's actually fuel for creativity.
Right. And to help frame this, the source brings up Benjamin Franklin's technique. Apparently, every morning he'd ask himself, what good shall I do this day? And then in the evening, what good have I done today? It shifts the focus from just ticking off tasks to the actual impact, the value created.
So success isn't how long your to-do list was, but the quality of what you actually did. And ultimately, the source is clear. Balance isn't some perfect 50-50 split. That's impossible, maybe even undesirable. It's more like a constant recalibration, unique to you, that ability to shift focus. That's the healthy goal.
Okay, so we've covered the why, the problem, and the crucial mindset shifts. Now let's get practical. Let's talk about the actual how. We're ready for that three-step blueprint from Giovanetti. Step one, simplify. And this starts with managing energy, not just time.
Exactly. It's about understanding your body's own rhythms. You need to figure out your prime time when you're naturally most alert and focused. And this links to recognizing your ultradian rhythms.
Ultradian rhythms. Okay, what are those in, like, simple terms? They're basically your internal energy cycles, running about 90 to 120 minutes long. When you focus hard, your brain works intensely for maybe 90 minutes. Then your energy naturally dips. You need a short break then. So the idea is to schedule your really deep, focused work during those peaks, not fighting against the dips. And once you know your peak window, you got to protect it fiercely.
And the tool for protection is the focus hour.
Yeah.
That dedicated block of deep work. Getting into what Csikszentmihalyi called a flow state, right? Where you're just completely absorbed. But it has to be pure focus. No emails, no notifications, nothing. That's where the really good stuff happens.
And simplifying also means tackling the big time sucks head on, especially email and meetings. Get this. Professionals spend almost 28% of their work time just in their inbox. The advice is let go of that inbox zero dream. It's mostly an anxiety trap, a time sink.
And meetings. Don't get me started on meetings. The cost is insane. Estimated $37 billion a year for U.S. businesses just on unnecessary meetings.
It's crazy. So if you have to have one, keep it short. Our attention really wanders after about 10 to 18 minutes. Think TED Talks, they stick to that for a reason. Go longer, and people just aren't retaining it.
This focus on boundaries extends to rituals too, right? Creating an off-duty mode.
Yes, absolutely critical. You need some kind of ritual to signal the end of the workday. It could be changing clothes, a quick walk, listening to specific music, something that creates a mental shift, a physical or mental transition.
And that transition, it matters for perception too. The source mentioned in a case study, Chelsea Cox, a working mom. Her colleagues saw her leave the office at 5 sharp, thought she was super efficient. But they didn't see her working again at home until 10 p.m. sometimes. Leaving the physical office created a boundary, even if the hours were still long. We need that mental boundary when home is the office.
Okay, let's move to step 2, delegate. And the key here is reframing it. It's not just dumping tasks. It's about asking for help strategically, empowering people.
And the payoff can be big. CEOs who delegate well apparently generate 33% more revenue. So what's the secret sauce for doing it right?
The big insight is this. Delegate the problem, not just the specific task. This is kind of revolutionary for some managers. So instead of saying, please schedule these 3 social media posts, which is just a task, you delegate the problem. I'm struggling to find enough time to write the marketing copy each week. This allows your team or assistant to come up with broader, maybe more creative solutions you hadn't thought of.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. It shifts it from just following instructions to actually solving the underlying issue. You're trusting their initiative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which, of course, requires trust. You have to avoid micromanaging, especially with remote teams. Good people want to solve problems, not just tick boxes.
Right. Okay, finally, step 3, automate. Making the internet, work for you. Automation seems key for batching those little repetitive tasks that eat up time.
Definitely. But with a warning, the gym membership cliche applies. Only invest time or money in automation tools you'll actually stick with and use fully. Don't get sucked into some complex system you'll abandon in a month. Start simple.
And simple can be really effective. Like the 20-second rule for breaking bad habits. Want to stop mindlessly scrolling social media? Just make it slightly harder. Like delete the app icon from your main screen so you have to actively search for it. That extra 20 seconds of friction can often break the automatic habit loop.
Exactly. And think about common areas. Email filters and scheduled sends can stop constant interruptions. Scheduling social media posts in batches instead of daily logins, automating payments, invoicing, going paperless, these small things, they add up. They can reclaim hours every single week.
So let's try and pull this all together for you listening. We've covered a lot today. I think the core message really is that success here is like 80% mindset. You've got to simplify first. You need to start seeing rest, even boredom, as tools for creativity. And accept that balance isn't static. It's this constant personal recalibration.
Yeah, the goal isn't some mythical perfect life. It's about building a life that feels driven by your purpose, where work fits healthily into your overall life pie, a pie that deliberately includes space for rest, play, adventure, maybe just stillness. And you design that pie yourself.
And we want to leave you with this final thought, something the author realized, funnily enough, while she was finally resting by the sea in Greece. This addiction we have to busyness, this constant need to hustle, it might be linked to something deeper, something older,
Oh.
fear. Fear of losing control, fear of maybe not being enough.
Because a fresh start, reclaiming your time, it starts in your head. It's a mindset shift, not just a change of scenery. So the question we leave you with is, what are you really afraid of? And how might that fear be holding you back from claiming the time, the life you actually deserve? That's where the real deep dive begins.